be happy here and now, so then you can be happy there and then.
Once when I was DJing, someone came up and tried to high-five me for playing their song, and they just flat-palmed me in the face.
There's not one job that is going to change your life or make you happy. I feel like that was on them, though. I don't think...
Probably on Sarah.
Our next guest has been on Hollywood billboards, but despite that, he's still the most humblest, sweetest, kindest guy you'll ever meet.
His talent is out of this world. He's a writer, producer, actor, and is now the lead actor in feature film in cinemas everywhere, Birthright. Please welcome Travis Jeffery. Your new film, Birthright, is coming out 21st of May.
Mm-hmm. It's very soon.
Very soon.
Exciting.
Thank you for having me. I'm very, very excited to be here.
Thanks for coming on. And it's so cool because, like, you and I did boot camp and we would always go for a swim after and we would say, what are you doing today? And, like, I'd be like, I'm trying to get this podcast off the ground. And now you're finally here.
Here we are. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Tell us about Birthright.
So Birthright is a pretty wild dark comedy. I play a character called Corey in Birthright. Corey has just been evicted. He's jobless, and him and his wife, Jasmine, played by the amazing Maria Angelico, moved back in with Corey's parents, played by the amazing Linda Cropper and Michael Hurst. As the parents start to worry that their disappointing son, that's me, Travis Jeffery, stay is just going to keep extending and extending, Corey starts to get obsessed with their sort of boomer wealth. And he finds a way to prove himself through some pretty questionable means.
We watched a little sneaky screener. That's what you kind of get when you're doing podcasts, you know? I loved it. I love dark comedy. I think it's so funny and it's witty. And my partner, Geordie, was just like, this is really funny. And also it's like a drama and it's a bit thrillerish.
Yeah.
We loved it so much and it was something different that I don't think we've seen for a long time, which was really cool.
Yeah, and that's what I really loved about the script. And Zoe Pepper, who directed it, this is her feature debut, is she just takes such a big swing. And I think the script is a big swing and just the final product, and that was just really refreshing of stuff I've read. I think it's one of the most interesting scripts I've read in such a long time, and I think there's something in it for everyone. And I think what's genius about Zoe is she's made a film that your perspective changes with your age, you know, depending on who's watching it, your circumstances. You know, you always hear which side people are on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I must say, Geordie kept switching sides on whose side
good.
he was on. I mean, I was on your side because well, you're just a sweetheart and you're amazing. And then Geordie was like, actually, this kid, he should actually pull his socks up. You know, anyway, I'm not going to give it away. But yeah, he kept switching sides. But I think that's the fun of it, you know?
It's funny and it's dark, but it's really sad when you think about it, and sort of approaching it from Corey. I think it's a film about, you know, Corey's 37, I've just turned 37, and it's that point in your life where you realise the plan that you've been sold for so long doesn't actually work anymore. You know, the plan that worked so well back in the day. You know, you graduate high school, you get a degree, or you go straight into a job, have a family, you buy a house off one income, and then that doesn't work anymore. So you feel like a loser, you know, because you're like, well, am I not executing this plan well enough? I'm working my ass off. And that causes, I think, a lot of resentment and a lot of sort of self-questioning. And that's where Corey kind of explodes, you know, because he's stuck to this plan and he's worked so hard and it just doesn't work anymore.
To afford an average home, like it costs about over $1,000 in mortgage, like each week. And that's just an average home. Like people can't do that. So I think it's really, I think a lot of people will relate to your character as well and be like, you know, they're struggling to buy groceries, and if they've got a partner or a family on the way, like it's hard. It's hard for like people in privileged positions, let alone those who are just trying to get by. So I think a lot of people will resonate with Corey for sure.
A lot of older folks would come up afterwards and go, yeah, it's pretty hard these days. We get it. And I think this film's a great film for starting conversations. And, you know, I've had a lot of chats with my parents about it, and they're really, I think, you know, they're really starting to understand just how hard it is. And this film isn't about saying, hey, you worked harder than us or we work harder than you. It's just a different time, and it's a different entry point into the housing market So nobody's, slacking off more or working harder. It's just a different time. So now we have to reassess of how do we survive in this time. And
isn't that's so great that you were able to get that message across through film. That's why we make film and TV, right? To get those messages across.
Just before COVID, my partner and I bought a place in Brisbane off the plan, which is always a risk. And then we found out it was a risk. And because of the cost of living crisis and materials going up, it sort of crumbled, unfortunately. Luckily, we got our deposit back and we were able to sort of move on. It was a big lesson.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a huge lesson. Well, speaking of crumbling.
Oh, here we go.
What a segue.
Sarah, I call Sarah the segue queen. She's amazing at being able to just dip, dab, dive and dodge.
Oh, that was good. A fun little tidbit or fact. We actually auditioned for this film together.
We did, yeah.
I don't get it, guys. Spoiler, I didn't get it.
Sorry.
I was crumbling inside. But how did you find the audition process? Because it was for me, I found it quite extensive.
It was extensive, and I think, again, that just shows that Zoe has got such a clear idea of what she wants. My audition with you was probably one of the funniest, most embarrassing moments of my life. Do you remember this this moment?
Oh, please tell her.
Zoe loves a bit of improv.
Yes.
So we were doing some improv, and there's a scene in the film set in a pool. We won't give any more away. But there was some dialogue in the script that was quite... Corey and his wife, Jasmine, they're just having a bit of a joke, and there's a bit of a sexual joke in there. And it was taken out of the script, and Zoe and I were talking, and Zoe was like, hey, chuck that line back in. So I think Maria came in, and I remembered to say, hey, this line is coming at you. This line's back in.
That's right.
And then Sarah came in, and I forgot to say that this line was coming at you. And, Zoe had set it up that it's improv and, just play around. And I got just about to say this line and went, oh, no. I haven't warned Sarah that I'm about to chuck this horrible line in there that's supposed to be a joke. Oh, no. What do I do? So we just committed and you ran with it, and it was... we had a great laugh afterwards. But that moment right before I said that line, I was like, oh, dear. Oh, no.
Are you able
there
to
goes the film offer.
Are you able to tell our listeners what it was, or is that giving away too much of the film?
I think it's given away too much. And,
sure.
Watch the film. It's in the pool. It's in the pool. Yeah.
May 21.
May 21. That's it. Something that I've learned, and it's taken a long time. I've been acting for 15 years, and for 10 of those years, at least, would have had a part-time job outside of acting, whether that be pouring beers or making coffees or delivering wine or delivering parcels or just something to keep you going in between. But over those sort of 10 years, and mostly the last 5 years, realising that there's not one job that is going to change your life or make you happy. You've got to have a really great life outside of your creative ambition, because it might never happen the way you want it to. And I heard a really great quote from a friend yesterday, Kelly, and I don't know where this quote came from, so she's going to get all the credit. But the quote was, be happy here and now, so then you can be happy there and then.
Oh, I love that. That's
beautiful.
Great.
Because over the start of my career, there are those times where you go, great, Gallipoli or Unbroken, directed by Angelina Jolie, that's going to change my life. And then nothing major happens. You sort of go back to square one. You're auditioning, and you've made great relationships with casting agents, but there's not that one thing of like, oh, if I get that movie finally, I'll be enough, or if I get that, buy a house, I'll be happy. Because there has been those moments, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I was wow, this is a dream job. This is, but you finish it and you go, okay, well, what's next? There's just that human nature of going like shifting those goalposts, that arrival fallacy of like, well, once I get there, it's going to be all good. Creating a life that is fantastic without acting, around getting work. And a lot of that involves my own sort of creative work, short films, writing, and that sort of stuff, just so you have a bit of control of your own creative outlet. Because as an actor, you're waiting a lot of the time for somebody to give you permission to act. I think it's about finding what you love and doing that in your life outside of acting or or whatever your sort of creative pursuit is. Just so when it happens, it's a bonus.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to look at it. It's a healthy way to look at it. I'm catching up with a friend on Saturday. I won't name him, but he has been on telly a lot and he's working at a hotel at the moment. And he's like, it's such an ego check when people recognize you. They're like, hey, man, you used to be on X, Y, and Z. And they're like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I've got to pay the bills. I've got to pay rent. And he now is then wanting to travel a lot and finding extra things outside of this world so he doesn't get lost in it, which I think is really healthy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think for an artist too, though, all of that feeds your cup, doesn't it? And, well, at the risk of sounding lame, it's all like material that you can use if you play a hotel manager or
Yeah, totally.
whatever, you know, sometimes.
I'm actually researching for a role. Thank you.
Yeah, tell me.
Steal that. That's a very good answer. Yeah. Here's your box of wine. Researching.
Totally.
I mean, look, I've had some pretty crap jobs in my life between gigs. Like I played a banana once. I just had to walk around. I think it was like the race course or something. I don't know what the banana had to do with the horse racing, but the banana costume was too big for my the face covering was too big for my face. So there was like all this, like you could basically see through the banana that it was me. And I was so embarrassed to play this banana. Have you – that was a long segue into have you had any jobs like that where you've just been like, what has it come to this?
Have you ever been a banana, Trav?
I have not, but I am open. So if anybody's looking for a banana, I am in between jobs right now.
Tell you what you have done. You've played an ape.
I have played an ape.
Yes.
What a segue.
I told you, she's so good at it. I'm just like this. Anyway, now this is my next question. Talk to us about how you play an ape. And firstly, so you played an ape in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Now, firstly, how do you do that? Do you have stickers, those CGI stickers on you?
What they do is they make a very cool 3D printed mask. They drill 124 holes exactly where they need to be. And they pop that on your face, and every morning they do the dots. And then you put on this like very attractive skin-tight grey suit that's covered in all these infrared sensors. Depending on if you're indoors or outdoors, sometimes it might just be a sticker with markers. And then chuck on a helmet that's got a camera that tracks your facial movements, and then all these, the sensors are your articulators. So they're tracking how your body moves. And to get to there, we did 6 weeks of ape school.
Oh, yes. Tell us about this. We want to know about ape school.
What on earth is ape school? Please enlighten us.
So it's very much like being back in drama school, of that kind of like thought. If anybody walked in who's not part of this production right now, would be like, what the fuck are these people doing? Running around, jumping and screaming and just being chimps. But it was amazing, and it's the most fun I've ever had. 6 weeks with a beautiful French-Canadian man called Elaine, who's very gentle, and we would just build on these movements and sort of doing a lot of like mimicry work. And then from there, we would take what we like and build the characters in the room. So
wow.
Physically what working with Elaine and with the rest of the apes, with the rest of the cast did was just really brought so much depth to these characters. And I think it really reads on screen. You know?
How did it feel seeing your face as an ape on a billboard on Sunset Boulevard?
Yeah, and like, was there a part of you that was like, I mean, it's actually me, guys. Like, you know, is there a tiny bit of pride that you go, my big break, and I'm dressed as I'm CGI'd as an ape.
Absolutely. Look, I was happy to be an ape. When I called my dad, I was like standing in the middle of a paddock in Melbourne shooting a commercial, and this had come off the back of quite a downtime. I hadn't worked, I think, in a year and a half, and my agent called, and she's like, "You've been approved." I'm like, "I don't know what that means. I just need you to say the words. Did I get the role?" You know, and she's like, "You got the role." Which, you know, then I sort of started crying in the middle of a paddock in Melbourne. Called my mum and dad. Dad was like, he's like, "You're playing a human or a chimp?" And I was like, "I'm playing a chimp, Dad." And he's like, "Yeah, I would have loved to point you out, but, you know, that's still pretty cool." I said, "Yeah, no, Dad, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool." But Yeah, I love being a chimp. And people who know me and they look at that, and that's why Weta are such geniuses. You know, people go, that's you as a chimpanzee.
Yeah.
And that's what was really amazing about watching the final product. Early on, I didn't know. And Lydia, who plays Suna in the film, who's one of my best friends, I was always like, well, we don't know. You know, we might not be the face. We might just be the puppets. And she's like, shut up. It's us. You know, it's us. They're going to use all our performances. And I just wasn't sure. I was like, you know, we've learned the movement. Maybe they can take it and do whatever they want. But watching the final product, how much Weta honour the performances, like watching it go like, oh, I remember when Owen did that, or like when Lydia was doing that. And you can just see, like, it's just such a beautiful mix of performance and technology.
Great.
So I loved it. And there's a weird thing, like taking the pressure off of not having your face on screen.
Oh,
I don't know, you know, there's a safety net of like, well, they can tweak things and they can play around with things, which I think gives like a really great sense, permission to just play and have fun. Because on a lot of Australian films, there's not the money to do a lot of takes. So you're like, well, I have to get this right, whatever right is, and there's no right or wrong way to do it, in 1 or 2 takes. So that just created a really safe environment, really fun environment. So I loved being a chimp, and hopefully we'll get to be a chimp again.
Yeah, that's great.
How amazing.
I'm just going to circle back around. I want to talk about Birthright quickly. There is a scene where you take your shirt off and talking about like you're going, you know, when you were being a chimp, they could, you know, tweak this and that. Your shirt is off. We can see everything. Tell us about your prep to do that scene, because it's nerve-wracking getting your kid off.
It is.
You're not hiding behind dots from chimps.
No, but it is a really nerve-wracking thing. It's the first time I've really ever done it.
Because also, not just that scene, there's another scene that's even more exposing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't, you know.
I forgot about that, SEX.
Yeah, we don't want to objectify you, but that would have been a really intense scene to film as well.
It was. And that was the first time I've ever done an SEX scene.
Yeah.
But Maria and I got so close, and we were just so comfortable with each other that it was okay, that it was, you know, you could just see that it was work. It wasn't weird. The only time that it was, so there was a part where they're shooting from outside through the window, and it's me and Maria. So there couldn't be anyone else in the room. And you go like, okay, well, there's no crew and stuff. So then this gets a little bit weirder. And the one of the ADs comes in and he's like, okay, so they're rolling in your own time. I was like, no, you have to say action. Yeah. You have to say action, because we can't just choose to start doing that.
Absolutely.
Because it's much weirder than if you just say action, then we know it's our job to start. But yeah, so the prep for that was, so we sort of did a 3-month sort of lead up to it, and they do a real mix. They do really functional sort of exercise, and that's been always really important to me with things like Planet of the Apes and that sort of stuff, just being able to move and feel really comfortable, you know, with my shirt off. Because it is a really nerve-wracking thing. And when I left high school, I was 112 kilos. So I was about 60 kilos heavier than I am now.
Wow, really?
So taking my clothes off is not a very comfortable thing. You know, it's not a thing I've ever been comfortable with growing up. But, you know, incredibly proud of what we all did together. And yeah, it was still terrifying, but you know, it was such a safe, fun crew that everybody made it really easy.
And I just know the feeling of doing that. You know, you just go, oh, you feel so like exposed. So I can't believe the prep was 3 months. That's amazing. Good on you.
Yeah, thank you. Couldn't have done it without Chief and Ems and Sarah knows they're amazing.
Yeah. Was there an intimacy coordinator on Birthright then? Or?
No, there wasn't. We decided. Because it was really only those 2 bits that Maria and I felt comfortable enough to just, you know, talk it. We talked it all out very thoroughly. Zoe was always there, you know, tweaking and changing, and you know, because I think that's the amazing thing about intimacy coordinators, and what they do is just verbalize all the, you know, the stuff that you're worried about and you're worried about doing, and all those sort of fears. So we managed to do that with Maria, Zoe, and myself and the producers.
You're very articulate at that, Trav. Like you've produced, well, you touched on it a little bit before about producing your own work.
Yeah.
So you've done 2 short films.
Yes.
that are going to be turned into feature films. Is that correct?
Hopefully, yeah, developing them into features as well.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
It was, as we kind of chatted about before, like a need to work or a need to have creative reins over my own sort of career and just get some creative output somewhere else than acting. Just an idea popped into my head, and it was just a very silly idea. I think we were walking past, there's a beautiful cemetery in Randwick, and we're walking past, and just a thought popped into my head, and I said to Shani, I was like, how funny would it be if you did a line of cocaine that you'd accidentally spilt your best friend's ashes into and they came back?
Ooh, that's fun.
I would
like,
love that.
Oh. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that might actually have legs. So I started writing this short film. I think it was called Dust. It's now Dusty. All about a guy that skips his best mate's wake, locks himself in his room to have a little solo party, a solo goodbye, and knocks her ashes into a line of cocaine. And he rails it, and she starts to come back, and they have the time of their lives. You know, it's like they pick up where they just left off. So he realizes that he needs to do more, drink more beers, do more coke, snort more ashes to keep this party going and to avoid grieving. So sort of made me realize that there was a story inside, about 8 years before I think I started writing Dusty, 7 or 8 years, I lost one of my best friends, a girl I dated for a long time, to cancer. And, dealt with it in the most healthy way possible. Just partied for 3 years straight and lots of substance abuse and just really, beating myself up. But at the time, it was like, no, I'm just having fun. I'm just partying, it's just a party. And it wasn't until I wrote Dusty that I'd realised how sort of self-destructive that was and how self-destructive my version of guilt was at that point. So I took, the story's not about her, not about my friend, just to protect her privacy, but I took how I dealt with grief and made it about a different relationship, about a best friend, sort of about a friendship. And that, the moment where I sort of realised I was being really dangerous to myself, that it wasn't just a party, was kind of a really interesting rock bottom sort of moment of, I'd just come back from like a 5-day film festival, drinking too much. I was really sick, and I looked in the mirror and I'd put on like 20 kilos and I looked terrible and I felt terrible, and I just went, oh, wow, this is a bit more dangerous than just a party. And I had friends, it's funny that thing of like you can lead a horse to water but you can't make them drink.
Yeah.
I'd had a lot of friends, a lot of older actors who I really respect go like, hey, you're right, this is like, you're going a bit far here. You're like, no, it's fun. It's games, it's just messing around. But once I made Dusty, that really sort of helped me analyse through the writing experience and the editing experience and the festival tour of talking to people how I dealt with grief in a really bad way. And it taught me to deal with it in a lot better way, hopefully. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I feel like I'm sorry that you experienced all of that, and I'm really grateful that you can share all of that with us and your experience of grief and how you got through it. I feel like you've just answered the question that we ask most people on our podcast, which is, can you think of a time where you've hit rock bottom and you've had to find a way to scratch yourself back up to the surface? Yeah. I'm not sure if that would be the story that you would want to tell, or if...
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's such a great question because in this industry, you only see all the good stuff, right? Like on Instagram and all that sort of stuff, until people make the headlines for doing, but I think there are a lot of times in this industry where you're putting on a face on Instagram or whatever whilst dealing with a lot of stuff. But I think that would be one of them. I think that was probably, substance abuse wise and drinking wise, that would be the rock bottom moment. In terms of career, what I was talking about before with Planet of the Apes, that moment of like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. This industry is really, the rejection, it's an industry of rejection survival. And, no matter how strong you are, those rejections, it's like doing a job interview 2 or 3 times a week and getting rejected by all of them. So that was probably that moment of like creative sort of rock bottom, it felt like. And then leading on from Dusty, and what I learned from Dusty when we were shooting Birthright, day 2, and shooting the scene that we were talking about before, the scene with Maria and the SEX scene. I think the afternoon before, I found out my mum was diagnosed with leukemia.
Oh, Trav.
Yeah, and I was in Perth, mum's in Melbourne. It's a very mum thing of like, don't worry about me. You're over there. You're doing what you love. They're the most beautiful, supportive parents of me and acting. And I was going straight on to another job in Perth, and I was like, I can get out of it. I can come home. She's like, don't you dare come home. You'll be home soon. But that was a really interesting year. Like family-wise, I think that was the hardest thing we've ever been through. And touch wood, mum's doing really well now. She's almost 2 years bone marrow transplant. She's feeling really good and just back on the farm, and she's the strongest person I ever met. And going from how I dealt with Dusty into, you're not quite grieving the loss of somebody, but you're grieving a huge change in your life and the loss of normality and the fear of what's to come. Leukemia or cancer, it's, fuck cancer. It's very scary and it's a horrible thing. But going like, okay, well, let's not deal with this how I dealt with Dusty. Let's process this a bit more. Let's not do it through drinking. Let's come together as a family, as like a unit, and get through this together. It was also a really interesting year for learning that 2 things can be true at once. Planet of the Apes came out a few months after Mum was diagnosed with leukemia, and this was kind of right in the heaviest part of her chemo and what she was going through. And Planet of the Apes was the biggest job I've ever done. It's $160 million 20th Century Fox film. Playing a chimpanzee in a franchise I've loved since I was a child. And you go like, well, I can't be happy because we're going through this much shit. But my mum was like, no, go to LA, go to the premiere and enjoy it. And that was a really important lesson for me. I'm used to, I really see things black and white, like it's good or it's bad. But that was a great lesson in going, well, 2 things can be true at once. I can be really proud of this achievement, and I can go over and I can celebrate with everybody, and then I can come home and I can be present for my mum, and we can work through this other thing together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that makes me so I don't know what it lately I've been so rattled by people's stories about like cancer or grief and family, and I'm just so glad your mum's doing okay. Yeah, I just think it's just so, doesn't it just put life into perspective, like all the things you worry about, and then your mum, like someone who you love so much, you just go, oh, life is so fragile, and the things that I was stressed about probably doesn't matter.
And it's very easy to forget how fragile it is when we get caught up with rent or paying bills and all that kind of stuff and chasing our dreams and things that are all really important, but they become the most important until everything is stripped away. When you realise, when somebody literally goes from having all these things to their pure objective is survival. Just living day to day and surviving. And that, my mum is one of the strongest people I've ever met, and she didn't falter for a second throughout all her treatment. She was just so strong, and there was no other option than to get through it. But it just really taught me that what is important and that all those other little things aren't really important. No.
And it comes back to that quote that your friend said that you shared with us at the start of the podcast. Can you remember it?
Yes. Yeah. The quote is, be happy here and now so you can be happy there and then.
Yeah, which is really hard to do when you're, going through the depths of grief. Yeah. But it's kind of really important to have that, I guess, in the back of your head, isn't it? To just live in the moment.
Absolutely,
because you don't know.
Yeah.
And then it's also like, it is cool that you did then go to LA and do the, premiere, because then you can also be like it gives you also a sense or like permission to be like, life is fragile. Enjoy, like, fuck yeah, you're at a premiere in LA. Yeah. You did something really cool. And so you can sort of like be like,
And my mum would have been so angry if I didn't go and enjoy it.
And she would have been so proud.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. Like, so it's like really cool that you were able to have those moments of like, of like dealing with real shit and then being like, actually, I'm going to celebrate. sometimes also I don't think we give ourselves permission to celebrate. I know I'm so bad at that. Like I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, and I think that ties into what we were talking about before about sort of the arrival sort of fallacy of this industry of like, when I get that job, I will be happy, or when I get enough money or buy a house. But if you celebrate those little wins along the way of like, oh, I did a great audition today, or, I went to the gym, or I did something, that makes me happy. Celebrating all those little wins just makes life consistently great, rather than going like, well, in a month when Birthright comes out and everybody sees it, maybe that'll be, that'll be enough, or, so I think it's really important to celebrate little things, because they are sometimes the most important, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to hear another great quote?
Yes, please.
I heard this one 2 days ago. I heard this quote that says, if life was a race and the finish line was death, how slow would you go? And I was like, that's quite like an amazing reminder. Just be like, slow down.
Yeah.
So we get caught up in all these things, and time goes so fast because we're rushing and we're busy.
Yeah.
And to just take a breather and look at what's important and celebrate it and be grateful for it. And
it's so true, isn't it? Like I think about that often, because my brother passed away when he was 45, and I was 35 at the time, but now I'm 41. And then I think, oh shit, what if I only had 4 years left, like my brother, and how would I feel them? Like, how do I want to feel them, and how would I want to honor my brother, and fill my life in a way that would make him proud? And I think like life is just so fragile, isn't it? It's just so fragile. And how do we want to fill that time?
Yeah.
I think it's also nice, like I try to do it with my kids a lot, like, because having a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old is a lot. Like, but they're the best and I love them so much. But like some days you're just like, oh, like if I have to deal with another tantrum, and then I have to like slow down and be like, one day I'm going to be like looking at photos or like remembering how little they were, just wanting to like bask in their like delicious innocence, and just be like, one day I'm going to look back and be like, this is it. This is life. And I think I'm actually pretty good at like slowing down and being like, nah, this is like, we'll go outside and like they'll be on the swing and they're laughing and my dogs are running around. I'm like, this is it. Like, this is what life is. And I'm getting better at that now, I think.
I think you're really good at it. You're really good at staying off your phone and staying present. I mean, besides this morning.
Yes. I know. I was like trying to be tech savvy. Be like, how do you collaborate with the reel? Like, come on, Sam. But yeah, totally.
How do you slow down with your like novel of an IMDb page?
I think it's, just getting better at catching yourself being too caught up in stuff, whether that be through meditation or mindfulness or exercise, really, really helps for me, training with you and Chief and Ems, or just going to the gym by myself. I find that it's a nice moment of like, I'm exactly where I need to be at this point in time. Nothing else matters for this hour. I can just be present and be here. But it's hard, and I think it's a day-to-day sort of battle.
Yeah.
No, you go, Sam.
I was actually just going to say something really dumb. I was going to say sometimes I slow down like a bit too much, and like I'm a bit too like, doesn't really matter. Like I had this tax bill that I have to got to pay BAS, and I was like, $1,500, and I said to my sister, I was like, who cares? There's bigger things going on in the world, and she's like, no. You have to pay that. Like, anyway, it was just something dumb that it popped into my head of me going, this bill, rip it up. People are like dying and this doesn't really matter, and people are suffering, and they're like, no, you still have to pay your tax, which actually is bullshit. Yeah. It's not. It's fine. I pay tax. Don't come after me. I can't be bothered.
That's a bit too slow.
It's too slow. Put your finger on the pulse, Sam. Yeah. Still got to do that. Anyway, sorry to make that about me. It's just a dumb thing that popped into my head. Go.
Well, you talked about battles before, Trav.
Oh,
wow.
Are you ready for this? This might be my last segue.
Oh.
You've played about 8 soldiers. Is that correct? Am I correct?
Yeah,
8?
Might even be.
It's not 8, is it?
Well, Trav just said I was correct. Am I correct?
I think so. Maybe even more.
What?
9 or 10.
Yeah.
What do you think casting agents see in you that go, this guy could fight a war?
Somebody that should have been born in like 1915. I think that's what people say when they look at my face.
Actually, you do kind of have that face.
Yeah.
You have a classic charming look about you.
I think war is such an horrendous waste of life. But getting to honour an individual within that, I think, is a really beautiful thing. War is such a global, massive sort of thing where you talk in terms of countries of like, where was Australia in World War II or Vietnam? But to be able to go like, well, what did Jeff Kendall go through in the Battle of Long Tan, and get to share and tell that story? Because there's millions and millions and millions and millions of stories we'll never hear from men and women because they didn't make it. So to be able to honour an individual, I think is something really beautiful, and something I'm really proud that I've got to do in my work. Yeah.
That's a really beautiful way to look at it.
Yeah. And are you allowed to talk about what you just rapped on, or is that very confidential?
What did you just rap on?
It is on IMDb, so let's see. So I just rapped on a film called Greyhound 2, which is a sequel to a Tom Hanks military film.
Me, Scoo-Z.
Yeah. So I won't say too much about it, apart from Tom is exactly everything you want him to be.
Great.
Which is great. It's just one of the loveliest people, and just created such a fun, warm environment for everybody to just do their best work. And it's always a scary thing meeting heroes or people you look up to, because they can be anyway. And, you hear horror stories of people meeting their heroes and then them being a horrible person. But, I've been so lucky with Angelina Jolie and Andy Serkis and Tom, just a really wonderful people. And you can see why they work for so long, and people keep employing them, apart from the fact they're incredible actors and incredible creatives. They're just really nice people to be around. So I think that's a really great way to operate in the industry, and just kind and caring, and remembering that it's not rocket science, that it's fun, and we're getting to do what most people spend their whole lives dreaming of doing, and that's a real privilege.
I must say, I watched Birthright, and then before I'd met you, and I actually said to Sarah, I was like, Trav seems like the sweetest person on the planet and so down to earth. And I'm so delighted that you are the sweetest and you're so down to earth. It's like been such a pleasure meeting you, and I'm so excited. We do have Segue Queen, take it away.
We have
another great question.
We have two things. We usually ask our guests if there's something that really cracks you up with, like laughter at the moment, like big belly laughs, like uncontrollable laughter.
What type of humour do you have?
Dark humour, I think. Yeah.
Like Birthright.
Like Birthright, yeah.
Okay.
And that's what I kind of, Dusty, what we spoke about before, was a dark comedy. And if anybody wants to watch it, it'll be on YouTube from the 30th of April.
Do yourself a favour. It's brilliant.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, dark comedy, I guess. I'm not great with I don't find it funny when people fall over. I know some people find it funny when people...
I love it. We love it. Oh,
it's very
sorry,
telling,
Trav.
I think. I just feel so bad.
Oh, because you're so kind and
You
gentle.
Sweet, loving Travis.
Unless it's me falling over. Like, I do love a good fall gag. Bit of physical comedy. I don't know. Dogs on Instagram, I think it's a great way to just cheer anybody up. Yeah.
Totally. You know what I'm actually, what I've just discovered, and it makes me so happy, is men dancing.
Yeah, right.
I know it seems so bizarre, but like...
In a good way or in a...
No, dancing. Like, they're kind of like just vibing.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're terrible, but it's really fun. So like, I get it. Like, sometimes you just go, I don't know why I like this. Like, dogs on Instagram, but...
Actually, you know what? You're very good at that. You've done a few dance moves in your time on screen.
I have. Cannot dance to save my life outside of the screen. I probably can't really do it on screen either. But have no rhythm skills, unfortunately. I can't clap in time. One of my biggest fears in life is clapping in time with people at like a concert or something.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so bad that once when I was DJing, someone came up and tried to high-five me for playing their song, and they just flat palmed me in the face.
Oh, sick.
I'm really bad at them.
I feel like that was on them, though. I don't think...
I'm probably on Sarah. Probably.
Before we go, would you like to know your future?
Yes, I would absolutely love to.
It's all accurate, obviously.
Yes.
Fortune cookie it up.
All right.
These are new ones. We haven't used these ones yet, so
hopefully they're okay.
I'm going to have one after this.
Never look back.
Oh.
Is it? Is that all?
Well, I mean, I guess we did look back through the years, didn't we?
Yeah.
We spent this whole podcast looking back a little late, fortune cookie.
Damn it.
No, I think everything, you can interpret everything in different ways, right? Like I think never, it's good to look back and good to be grateful, but like don't look back on the small things or the things that you've been embarrassed about for 50 years. Like
Don't carry shame perhaps from the past. That's a nice one.
Yeah.
Don't look back at the wine or the banana.
Yeah, and don't worry about that time that person punched you in the face while you were DJing because you misread the situation.
I guess we're all learning. Travis Jeffery, thank you so much. We've had so much fun. Yeah. And we're excited for all your new projects. Birthright, it's out in the cinemas. Go see it.
21st of May.
21st of May. Come see it. Thank you very much. It's been such a pleasure.
Thanks so much.